Let's take a look at Mastery Items, week number 9, section C. Question number 1. Write an equation with variables for each statement. A is equal to adult, and C is equal to child. Statement number 1. The total number of adults and children was 15. So we take the number of adults, which is given as A, and we add to it the number of children, which is C, and the total was 15. The total of the adults and children was 15. So this equation right here matches this statement. Now, each adult paid $10. So each adult paid $10. So we take the number of adults and we multiply it by 10. If we have 5 adults, it's $50. If we have 15 adults, it's $150. And children paid $5 each. So each child paid $5. So if there's 2 children, it's $10. 5 times 2 is 10. And the total cost, so we're going to add it up. We're going to add up the amount that the adults spent plus the amount for the children, and that had to equal 100. And there you have an equation for each statement. This comes from chapter 7. It's an important skill to have. Take a sentence and turn it into an equation. Now, just as a side note, the adults and children, can they be decimal numbers of adults and children? Will you ever have like 0.3 of a child go someplace and spend $5? No, they can't be decimals. They can't be negatives. You can't have negatives. So adults and children, both those variables have to be whole numbers. We read that adults and children have to be elements of the whole numbers. So you can have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, number 2. Using the equation, force is equal to mass times acceleration, determine the missing variable if you know the following. Here we know the mass, we know the acceleration. So I'm going to just quickly write up force is equal to mass times acceleration. So force is equal to 5.3 times 10 to the power of 3 times 3.2. All right, so I need a calculator where I can do this in. Okay, so I'm going to go and find myself a calculator. I'm going to go to Solver. I like Solver. And I'm going to put in, well, I need to remember what I was going to put in. 5.3 times 10 to the 3. So I'm putting that in brackets. 5.3 times 10 to the power of 3. And it tells me what that is. And then I'm going to times it by 3.2. And it's 16,960. 16,960. All right, so for our first one, force is equal to 16,960. For our second one, we have force equals mass times acceleration. Force is equal to our mass, 4.5, I was reading ahead there, times 10 to the minus 2, this is a small number, times 1.5. 4.5 times 10 to the minus 2 times 1.5. So I'm going to go to my calculator. Make a new line. It was 4.5 times 10 raised to the minus 2. And it shows me what that is right over there. And I times that by 1.5. 0.0675. So you should have a calculator where you can work with scientific notation. Delete these and just write my force right here. And continue on. So this time I know my force and my acceleration. I need to find my mass. So we put in force is equal to mass times acceleration. 100 is equal to mass times 4. Now I divide both sides by 4 to get my mass is equal to 100 divided by 4 is 25. Those will cancel out. So my mass is equal to 25. Again, I've got my force and my acceleration, so I need to figure out my mass. So force is equal to mass times acceleration. 2.1 is equal to mass times 7.5. Divide both sides by 7.5. That will cancel, and we'll be left with my mass equaling 2.1 divided by 7.5, 0.28. And that's how easy it is to work with that formula. All right. Question 3, determine the lateral surface area of a cone given the following information. We need to remember the lateral surface area of a cone is equal to pi times the radius times the slant height. The cone bottom is not included. The cone bottom would be a pi r squared, which we would add on, but that's not included here. So we have our radius and we have our slant height here, so it's straightforward. Surface area of our lateral area is equal to pi times 13 times 3.2. And we just 13 times 3.2 times pi, 130.7 millimeters squared. It's very, ho, my beating heart, be still. There's a big mistake in this. Look, that's centimeters. We can't do this question because you got millimeters and centimeters. We have to change our centimeters into millimeters. And, well, it's pretty easy. We change that to 32 millimeters. So we erase this. We put in 32 millimeters. And then we just redo this. And we are going to get 13 times 32 times pi, 1,306.9. And there's our answer. Notice how we just multiplied the answer by 10. We multiplied one term in our multiplication question by 10, and our answer just got multiplied by 10. All right, let's take a look at D. Oh, we have our diameter. That doesn't work out too well, so we need a radius is 15. And we have a perpendicular height. So we need to figure out our slant height. So I'm going to draw out a cone here just to quickly figure this out. We know our perpendicular height is 8. And our radius is equal to 15. And we need to figure out how long that side is. So we're going to do a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So 15 squared plus 8 squared is equal to 289, and square root 17. So our slant height is equal to 17. Another nice Pythagorean triple. So to do our surface area, it's equal to pi rs. Pi times our radius is 15 times 17. Oh, I'm getting real close to the edge here. So surface area is equal to, well, let's just make sure everything's in centimeters. Okay, that's good. So we do 15 times 17 times pi. 801.1 centimeters squared. All right, well, I hope this was helpful to you. Thank you for watching.